your environment has so much influence over your success. We all know that scrub that has self-limiting beliefs. He doesn't believe that he can achieve something because most of the time it's because his family or the people that are around him are programming him with these self-limiting beliefs. Being away from the US for a couple of years now, I've seen how much influence has an impact on my personal development. I see how much it influences my thoughts. I see how much it influences my overall life. And I've been able to cultivate an environment that makes me stronger, that it fulfills me, and just keeps elevating me, keeps getting me closer to my personal goals. So, gentlemen, today we are going to be talking about how to use your environment to improve your life, to improve confidence, how important it is to be around people, be around things that are positively charging you, that are positively moving you towards your goals. So, environment is something that you can cultivate, is something that you can architect on your terms, but you have to be conscious of how you are architecting your environment. I used to be that scrub that just didn't really understand this topic. I was in environment. I grew up in an environment that was very negative. I grew up in an environment that didn't really support who I was, and I think that's the challenge that a lot of kids face being immigrants in the states, because you don't really know your identity. You're trying to figure it out. Your parents have a certain identity when they get to the country. Then, as you're growing up, you're assimilating into another culture. So it's difficult to understand who you are in those early stages of development as an immigrant, as a first generation immigrant. And I'm American. My parents are Mexican, but that was something that I had to face. And I think a lot of guys out here face the same thing, where you kind of are forced into an environment, and based off that environment you start to cultivate values, ideas, goals, and certain metrics for success that are programmed into you at that early stage of development. So as I started growing up, as I started seeing and understanding the world better, I realized that my environment was a big component to how successful I was going to become. Because when I was in high school, I would hang out with a lot of guys. I mean, we would smoke a lot of weed, man, a lot of weed back when I was in high school. And I mean, I don't think there's nothing wrong with smoking weed, but it was a problem for me because I was 17 years old. Some of my best friends in high school really enjoyed smoking, and it was causing a lot of negative impacts on my life. And I didn't realize that at the time, because you're so deep into the environment, you think that it's like part of life. But the fact of the matter is that my friends were influencing my habits. They were influencing the fact that I was becoming a, I was smoking a lot as well. So I'm not here to say that you can't smoke. To each his own. Some people are more creative. Some people get relaxed. It reduces that anxiety when you smoke. This is not a video about that. I'm not a doctor either. I'm not here to prescribe any of that kind of stuff. But my main goal with this video is to talk about your environment, how powerful it can be to elevate your confidence, and how on the other side of the spectrum it can destroy you if you are not aware of its power. So let's go ahead and pull up the whiteboard so we can dissect the power of environment. Your boy is coming to you from Quito, Ecuador. Been traveling these last couple of months. Been in Colombia, been in Mexico, Ecuador. Next country is probably going to be a Central American country. Got one in my scope right now. And one of the biggest reasons why I enjoy traveling, why I enjoy being away from home, from the States, is because it allows me to cultivate an environment that is fulfilling for me. That is probably one of the biggest reasons why I like to be outside of the US, because the US programs you in a certain manner. There's a lot of obese people in the US. There's a reason for that. There's a lot of fast food restaurants. There's a lot of just shitty food out there. And that environment has a powerful influence on you. So when I'm outside of the states, I can really focus on cultivating an environment that is powerful for me. There's gyms close to me, there's parks, great weather, let's see, pretty girls, big city, bars, good locations to take girls on dates. This is something that I think about being a young bachelor out here, elevating, getting more money, focusing on my career, focusing on just leveling up myself. And I think that this is the same sentiment that a lot of guys out there have as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you are a young guy, you're enjoying life, you're focusing on yourself, you're trying to self-improve. There's nothing wrong with taking girls out on dates, enjoying yourself, enjoying life. And if you're in that same predicament, there's a couple of things that you need to take into consideration when cultivating a powerful environment. So let's go ahead and pull this up. So there's a couple of power terms that I want to break down to better understand the premise of this video. And the biggest ones here are, first one, environment. So environment, this is just the surroundings or conditions in which a person, animal, or plant lives or operates. So this is everything that's around you, your habitat. Then we have influence. So influence, this is the capacity to have an effect on the character development or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself. So this is the influence that you get from your friends. This is the influence that you get from your family. This is a big one. A big way that I think about this is when it comes to alcohol and drinking in my culture, being Mexican American. When it comes to drinking, man, Mexicans love to drink. Mexicans love to eat tortillas, a lot of flour products, tortillas, gorditas, enchiladas. And a lot of these foods are not good for building muscle, for getting shredded, getting in shape. Alcohol is horrible for building muscle. It's just a very detrimental substance that can harm your progress. And this is something that I saw a lot growing up in my culture. That was the way that my Mexican culture was influencing my life. And what I invite you to do is to think about how your culture influences your life, how it's, certain things that your culture does, how it influences maybe your values or your mindset. The next term we have is osmosis. So osmosis is the process of gradual or unconscious assimilation of ideas, knowledge, etc. Osmosis is powerful. Osmosis is like when you adapt to somebody that's around you. If you hang out with someone that is shredded, that's here in the gym every day, you're going to adopt a lot of those ideas unconsciously because you are around that person. So that is osmosis. If you grew up in a negative environment like the hood, the ghetto, like I did when I was when I was young, man, until I was like 12, you see a lot of negative things. You see gang members, you see drug dealers, and unfortunately, you can also adapt to that environment and become that if you are not careful. So osmosis is powerful. It's not objective. No, it's not subjective. It's objective, where anything that's around you, you are most likely going to adapt to that thing. The next thing we have is contagious. So contagious, if we apply this to a disease, this can spread from one person or organism to another by direct or indirect contact. So this is, it's contagious. Think about it like a cold, a flu. If you're around somebody that has it, you're going to be infected by that disease as well, that virus. So this can be positive and negative. And what we want to do is be contagious. We want to be around people that are going to give us positive attributes. We want to that's the type of contagions that we want in our lives. But like I said, think about a virus. You can be infected by the virus if you're not careful. Then we have support. So support is to help someone or something in an emotional or practical way. Support is, you go to your buddies for advice. You go for just for some type of support, so they can get you through tough times. This usually happens when something goes south and you need some support. Shout out to my boys. I remember when I was going through a certain breakup, a lot of my boys, shout out to my boy Fausto, shout out to my boy Fernando. These guys gave me a lot of support so I can get through that moment. And what we want is to have a group of friends and people around us that offer support when needed. Then we have motivation. So this just describes why a person does something. It is the driving force behind human actions. Motivation is the process that initiates, guides, and maintains goal-oriented behavior. So this is just the why. Why do people do what they do? The motivation behind it. Then we have personal development. So personal development is a phrase that refers to activities designed to improve talents, potential, employability, and even wealth. So a lot of the videos that I've been making, especially in this series here of confidence, is towards personal development. And when it comes to confidence, environment is highly influential, because your environment is going to deeply impact how you feel about yourself, your self-image. The people around you are going to influence that as well. And if you are in a positive environment, this will help you cultivate stronger confidence in yourself, stronger confidence towards your view, towards life. So there's a great book that I highly recommend to read by Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Work Week. A lot of the strategies in this book are outdated, but it's still a really good book to understand the mindset and the philosophy of where he's coming from, how you can really 10x your productivity, and you can really start to implement a lifestyle that is congruent to your goals. So in that book, he has a great quote where he says that the environment you create around you has a huge impact on your success. And that is true. So what we're going to focus on is how we can cultivate an environment that is going to empower us to build that confidence. I was going through Instagram and I came across this short. Let me go ahead and pull it up here so I can show you guys.
Post in 2007 for a social experiment. What if we took this extraordinary world-class musician and put him in the most ordinary of places? Let's put him in the Washington, D.C. subways. Well, they put him in a little baseball cap, and it was only 45 minutes. He put out a little tip jar, and he played for 45 minutes. They thought that it would create like a scene, like a concert almost. What happened was even more incredible. No one gave a shit. 1,000 people went by. Only, I think, 7 stopped to listen to him. Of the 7 who stopped to listen, only 1 recognized him as one of the greatest violinists of all time. In that 45 minutes, he made $54 in tips. $20 of that came from the 1 person who recognized him. Joshua Bell, you could expect to pay hundreds, thousands of dollars a seat to listen to this man play. But in that subway, he faded into white noise. No one cared. But here's the point of that. No matter how wonderful you are, if you are in the wrong environment, you will be treated as invisible, even disposable. And you cannot let that environment and the way those people react to you affect the way you see yourself. So,
boom. If you're not following your boy, make sure to follow me. This is my main account here for the channel. A lot of short content, a couple posts. And earlier I posted this picture, and this was back when I was really going hard in MMA. I was training like 5 days out of the week. I was training with a lot of professional fighters and like amateurs about to become professionals. We got a couple of UFC fighters here. We got Leo Mana here in the middle, and then we also have Adrian here. He's Adrian Yanez. He's he's an up and comer, but dude got a lot of potential. He's a fucking killer. A lot of these guys are pros, man. and some are about to become pros. And I was training with these guys for a long time. And when I was training with them, I was getting my ass handed to me almost every other day, but I was learning a lot and I was just becoming better myself, really sharpening my skills. And it had to do a lot with my environment. This training gym that I was in, this MMA dojo, the coach that we had, it really fostered an environment of excellence because the shout out to Coach Solis, Coach Saul, he passed away during COVID, but man, that guy was a fucking beast, man. And training under him was a lot of pressure. It was high stakes. He demanded excellence from you. He wanted you to be there on time. He wanted you to train hard. He would get on your ass. He would chew you out in front of everyone. And it was because of that environment that I believe that my skills got so much better. A lot of these guys ended up becoming professionals. My goal was never to become a professional UFC fighter. I just wanted to get really competent and good at fighting. And I think I mastered that because of the environment that I was in. The environment had to do a lot with that. So if you're training with other guys that are, I really like to compare this to fighting because it makes a lot of sense. When you're around other guys that are killers, that are also on their mission, they're really trying to elevate themselves. You have a coach, a mentor that pushes you to that limit. You are in the perfect environment to become better. And put this quote here where I said that your environment is the silent architect of your destiny. Build it with intention. Choose environments that fuel your ambition. The energy around you is a reflection of your future. And you could really see this with this picture, your environment. These are the guys that I was training with on a day-to-day basis. And this was after a sparring session. And man, we're all getting it. So environment is powerful. It's something that you can't neglect, you can't undermine, because it will highly influence your destiny, whether you think it will or you think it won't. So environment just plays that crucial role in shaping your mindset, your behavior, your overall success. When you surround yourself with ambitious, intelligent, and positive people, you are really empowering your goals. It nurtures your growth. It drives you to achieve your goals. A great book that really talks about this is The 50th Law by 50 Cent and Robert Greene. So 50 Cent and Robert Greene, the author of 48 Laws of Power, got together and wrote this book together. And what I really like about this book is that it talks about 50 Cent's rise from living in the hood, being a drug dealer, becoming a rapper, becoming successful, and then becoming a multi-million-dollar businessman. And you see his evolution of how he came from the bottom to the top. And it really resonates with me because I understand that mindset. I understand how it feels to come from the bottom and rise to the top. And I think a lot of guys, a lot of Mexican American immigrants, a lot of kids of Mexican Americans, a lot of kids that grew up in the hood, grew up in the ghetto, they share this mindset. And I think that this is the perfect book to read to really understand that mindset and how to get out of that environment. If you are struggling with that, this is a great read. Another one, this is probably one of the must reads that everyone has to read out there. It's going to pick up a lot of traction. I know it's going to become a classic going forward, but it's Atomic Habits by James Clear, where he talks about building habits that empower you, your day-to-day habits, your environment, the things that you do, how to program yourself to really establish powerful habits that empower you. And the main thing, man, when it comes to, I'm in my early 30s and I'm currently in bachelor mode, man. And being in bachelor mode, you're out here enjoying life, traveling, making money, really enjoying yourself. This is a good time to be a bit selfish, because I know like one day I'm gonna have a family, man. But right now it's like all the things that I've always wanted to do, I can actually do them now. And I think that a lot of guys are in this position, or they eventually want to get into this position. But there's a couple of different metrics that we need to focus on when it comes to cultivating a powerful environment, if you want to be out here pimping, enjoying yourself, enjoying everything around you, we need to focus on the gym, our money, the dating market, and a couple of different positive attributes that will just make your environment better. So starting off with the gym, when it comes to like, I've been traveling everywhere, bro. Like right now, your boy's in Ecuador. And what I really like about Ecuador, if you can see behind me, it's a perfect, beautiful, sunny day. The weather feels amazing. It's like in the 70s and we're like in midsummer. If I was back in Texas right now, it'll be hot as hell, bro. Humid, hot weather that I just never really liked, but I was forced to live in that environment because that's where I grew up in Houston. I thought that's all life really had to offer. But once you start traveling, you start seeing that you can really cultivate an environment that you like. And one thing that I've realized about traveling is that I like to be in environments that the weather is nice, it doesn't rain, it's not always like cloudy, and it's not hot. It's more cold and fresher than it is hot. And that's one thing that I really liked and enjoyed about living in Mexico and Ecuador and Colombia is the weather, man. The weather is big. But also, going back to the gym, I have 3 amazing gyms here that are literally walking distance from me. I can go downstairs. Currently in my apartment here, penthouse apartment, pretty nice. But I have a gym downstairs in the apartment. What I don't like about it is that it lacks certain equipment that I need. And what I do is I just go to a couple of different gyms that are here, walking distance. Also, there's a boxing gym really close to me. There's a grocery store literally 5 minutes away walking, and there's an amazing park that is this way, like 2 blocks this way. So I have everything when it comes to staying in shape, making sure that I have my diet optimized. Everything is close to me. And the reason why is because before I got this location, I researched it, right? I was looking for locations that have these attributes in place. It has to have a gym, good gyms, parks, and grocery stores, because this is the most important thing, man. Your health is the most important thing. So gym is number 1. The second thing is, I would say, is money, man. You want to be in an environment that supports your money. It supports you generating more money. Networking. So I'm gonna keep it real, bro. When it comes to networking, you can network with people down here, but it's not the same as going to networking events that really allow you to maximize this aspect. I wouldn't say that like right now your boy's in Ecuador, and I don't think that being down here is like a great networking location. But that's a great thing about like working remotely, that you can always travel, you can always take a flight and go to a networking event, meet up your boys if needed. This is what I did a couple months ago when I went to Florida. Got a quick flight, went to Florida, went to a networking event, met up with the boys, with my mentor, came back to South America and just kept going. So that's what's great about working remote, is that you can always just jet to a location, jet to a networking event, and come back if you want. But I would say that like living down here, the main areas that it optimizes are your focus and your space. So I can really optimize my space. I have everything that I need around me. I can book locations that are great for my lifestyle, the gym, dating, make sure that I'm in shape, making sure that I'm making money out here. So it allows me to focus on those important things. It allows me to cultivate a powerful environment. Then the next thing we have is dating market. This is a lot for my guys that are out here dating, trying to make sure that game's on point, talking to girls, setting up dates. Dating, man, environment is so powerful when it comes to dating, man. If you are in a small town, in a little village, your dating options are going to be very limited. You're not going to have any options being in that type of environment. I saw this when I was living in Mexico, man. When I was living in Mexico, there was like, bro, there was like 20%, cute girls in that place, man. It was a very low population for cute girls to date. And that was when I was living in Guanajuato. But when I was living in the big cities of Mexico, like Guadalajara, Monterrey, Mexico City, the numbers increased dramatically. There was a lot more cuter girls. And I started to realize that, and I was like, man, you know what? Going forward, bro, like I'm gonna stick to big cities because big cities is where the girls are at, bro. That's where all the cute girls are at. So your boy went to, I was in Cartagena in Colombia, a lot of cute girls, a lot of tourists. I was in Medellin, Colombia. That's probably the capital of all of the most beautiful girls in the world. Had a really good time in Medellin. I can't deny it, bro. I got tired of it after a while, but Medellin is a perfect place to date. Just gotta be very careful. Be very careful with a couple of things that go on down there. But the next, so and then I came over here to Quito, and Quito, Ecuador is the capital of this country, and it's a pretty big population. There's a lot of cute girls as well, so I really like it here. But going forward, my goal is to be in big cities. Like I don't want to be in small cities anymore because the options when it comes to dating are limited. There's not really too many options. The quality is okay, so I would highly recommend to go to bigger cities. If this is something that you're struggling with in your small town, in your little your little town, bro, like just get out of there, man. Go somewhere that's bigger. Go to your closest, biggest city. When I was back in the States in Texas, I was living in Houston, so I didn't have any issues in Houston as well. Houston's a big city, a lot of cute girls. But if you're living like in Pearland or some little bumfuck town in the middle of nowhere, you're going to have issues when it comes to dating. That's just part of your environment. So another hack about being in big cities is that there's going to be a lot of girls that you are going to like, and there's going to be a lot of venues where you can take girls. There's going to be coffee shops, there's going to be bars, clubs, a lot of cool locations that you can take girls on dates. And one thing that I would recommend is to just start thinking about the kind of girls that you like. If you like Asian girls, if you like in shape, petite Asian girls, maybe you want to go to Asia. Maybe you want to go to Thailand. Maybe you want to go to the Philippines. If you like Latinas, big booty Latinas like I do, light skin, big booty Latinas, you maybe want to go to South America, maybe go to Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Argentina. And that's where you will find those type of girls that you are into. So right now being down here, bro, like this is what I like. This is what I enjoy. So I love South America, bro. I love my Latinas. And this is the reason why I'm down here. But the dating market, your environment has so much to do with your dating success. And then we go into the positive things. So just some cherries on top that make your experience a lot better is the weather, making sure that there's good weather. Like I said, here, the weather here is amazing. It feels like Cali. It feels like LA. SoCal. Also, the people. So you want to be in cities where the people are friendly, they're polite. I would say that Medellin, Antioquia, the department of Antioquia is probably one of my favorite places when it comes to the people. The people are very friendly. You get along with everyone. But here in Ecuador, it's been like that as well. Last thing you want is to be in an environment where the people are more, maybe they're assholes. Maybe they're known for being reserved. They don't really want to talk to you. Some places that I can think about at the top of my head are like New York, like Monterrey in Mexico. That's one of the cities that I think that a lot of people are kind of like stuck up a little bit. But in New York also people are very rude. So maybe that's something to consider. If you don't want to be around people like that, just don't go to those cities. And finally, the culture. Is the culture something that you like? Is it something that you enjoy being around? So like being in Colombia, they have a big party culture. They like to watch soccer. I like that, man. I like when people are like friendly. They want to have a good time. They enjoy themselves. But if you don't like that, maybe that's not the place for you. Maybe you want to go to somewhere more conservative, maybe somewhere in Europe, somewhere in the Middle East. It really depends the culture. The culture has to be a good fit for you as well. South America for me has been perfect because, I come from a Latin background. So I understand the culture very well, and it just makes it easy for me to assimilate into the culture. So jumping into implementation, your environment will highly impact your motivation and productivity. It helps you to stay focused and driven. It heightens your motivation, it increases your productivity. It also just increases your confidence through support and encouragement. When you're around other like-minded people, it boosts your confidence. It allows you to step out of your comfort zone. So I saw this a lot when I went to Florida and I met up with the boys. What's great about working remote is that you can always just, if you book a flight, you're there a couple of hours, you can meet up with your mentors, with your boys, and you can get that boost, man. A lot of my homies also like to come down and visit me in the locations that I'm at. So when they come down, it's we have a great time because I know that I vetted these guys. I know that they're good guys. They're on their mission. They're on their purpose too. So when we get together, man, it just really amplifies that energy. And then finally, it strengthens your resilience and your problem solving skills. So it fosters resilience whenever you're around other like-minded guys. You're in an environment that really empowers you, and it gives you just new perspectives and solutions, man. Like being down here, bro, you start to think about new things. You started thinking about how you can solve new problems going forward. How, bro, life just completely changes, man. Like if you're struggling with dating, if you're struggling with having like a negative environment, just leave the country for a while, bro. Like leave the country and see how good it is being outside of the US. I'm speaking primarily to everyone living in the US because that's where I come from. But a lot of your problems are gonna get alleviated when you leave the US, because the US just has a lot of negative. It has a lot of obstacles, man. A lot of impediments that hold you back to some extent. And it isn't until you leave the country that you start to see the opportunities that are available to you, especially, being a US citizen. So I highly recommend to leave the country, get a perspective shift, and you'll see how good your life is. You'll see how you are the fucking man, and you can really enjoy yourself out here. So as we tie this back to environment and confidence, from the video that we played earlier, he made a great point when he said that it doesn't matter who you are. If you are in an environment that does not support you, it does not empower you, you're going to always feel little, man. You're going to feel like you can't really accomplish much. You feel like you're going to feel, your efforts are going to feel futile because you're in an environment that does not empower you. But when you change that and you go into an environment that supports you, you're around like-minded friends, you are in an environment that empowers your growth, you are really going to start to breed maximum confidence through that environment. This is how we tie this back to confidence, is that your environment will highly impact that confidence, because now you have the tools and the surroundings to positively influence your confidence. So, gentlemen, this is the power of environment. Trust me, I used to be that scrub, man. I remember when I was a kid growing up in the hood, it was tough, bro. It was tough because this is like a certain perspective that you see. Also, my culture had a lot to do with it, and this is like the perspective that you think is how life is supposed to be like. But then once you step out of it, you start traveling, you start to read a lot more, just start educating yourself. You can see the power of how you can set up your environment, move to locations that are going to empower you, and how powerful it is for your confidence. So there you have it, gentlemen. If you have any questions, any thoughts, drop them down in the comments. Let's kick off a discussion. I'm interested to see what you guys think as well. But environment is powerful. It can really make or break your goals because it highly influences your habits and your behavior. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, smash that like button. I'll catch you guys all in the next video. Stay strong, cultivate a powerful environment, and keep on conquering. You got this. Peace.